What is going on YouTube? You know, it's your boy Turtle the Ascended here today. Finally, I'm starting the list. I am starting the Smash tier list. It's about time. I've been talking about it, but I finally got it finished the way I personally want it. So if you haven't checked out my criteria video, I strongly suggest you go look at that, because that has a lot of influence over kind of how I do this list and tiers that I have in it, and it kind of settled on the way I want to do it. So if you like this type of content, or if you like my content in general, or you know me, please help me out. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notifications on. Send it to somebody, tell them, hey, check it out, that boy Turtle doing something, man. And let's get into the video then. Alright, so like I said before, if you haven't checked the criteria video, then you probably won't know exactly how I'm doing this, but otherwise we're just gonna get started, man. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. This is my opinion, mine. Okay, this is my opinion based on several factors that I said again in the criteria video, so don't take it personal. I do also think that every single character in this game is capable of winning to some degree, right? When I make a tier list, I think of it as how much harder are you making it on yourself than somebody else to win a tournament, right? Like, for example, well, I can't make an example. I won't give anything away. But the point is, I think every character has at least some redeeming matchups in some type of way that you can play around the meta and do some things. So, I mean, it kind of just depends. It strongly depends. In most fighting games, even Smash, of course, there are some lower tier characters that are capable of beating certain high tier characters. So, you know, it just depends on you, right? And if you're a significantly better player than the other guy, then obviously you can win with whoever you want. So, right? People have done stranger things. So, we'll start with bottom and low tier. I'm gonna do these two together since the tiers aren't very long. The other ones are pretty heavily filled, so I'll do those separately. But we'll start with the bottom tier with Kirby. As you see, I think Kirby's the worst character in the game. If you checked, like, again, check the criteria video. If you looked at it, then you already know why I have Kirby here, right? Kirby honestly doesn't have any real redeeming qualities that any other character in the game can't do, right? There's better characters with multiple jumps. The character is slow, has no speed. The character has no air mobility, has a very abusable recovery, right? The most redeeming quality about this character is that he has some pretty decent combos, has a pretty decent combo game. He hits kind of hard, isn't like super duper hard, but he hits kind of hard with stuff like his back air. His smash attacks are actually pretty good. His forward smash pretty nice, having a little like a weave back, almost like a backswing blow. So Kirby's pretty okay, but he's just don't play him. Right? If you're trying to win, don't play Kirby, okay? The only way you really win playing somebody like Kirby is if your region is like mad impatient. If you're having to sit there and approach Kirby, then it's a different story. But from neutral onwards, there shouldn't be a situation where you have to approach Kirby, okay? So, I mean, like I said, he's got some slick stuff, but there's no reason to ever go near this character, so there's no reason for you to ever get smacked on by this character. Just camp him. Literally everybody is capable of camping this character, right? Even Little Mac, who you see above, is capable of camping this character, right? So just stay away from Kirby if you're trying to be like good, right, and win. It's just in your best interest, in my opinion, okay? Moving on to the low tier, since Kirby is the only character I have in bottom tier, right? I'm gonna slide it over a little bit. Also, I want to make it clear, none of these will be in order until you get to, I believe it's high tier that I have them ordered. So, on the low tier spectrum, these are not ordered, and you'll see an interesting bunch of characters that I have here. So I'll start from the back here with Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant's not very good in the grand scheme of the game. I mean, he can sneak you pretty easily. I don't know if Piranha Plant's a he or she, but PP can definitely sneak you with some annoying stuff, right? Plant does pretty decent combo damage, has a cool down tilt. I mean, I call it the photosynthesis jab is quick, not super duper quick, but you know, Piranha Plant's pretty slow, so playing the keep away game is pretty hard. It's really just a matchup that you lose because you don't know how to fight the character. Because, I mean, let's be honest, how many Piranha Plants are you going to ever face? So this is, like I said, this is a character you're going to get beat by maybe once or twice simply because you've never fought them, right? But once you fought them and get the hang of it, there's just certain things you'll know not to do, and it's a pretty simple matchup. I got a guy I play against who also plays Plant, and he's pretty tricky with him. And there's stuff that I forget after not playing for a while that really will just get you. But as long as you actually know the matchup, this character is no threat to you ever. Just don't fall for the cheese, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the characters in the lower tiers can't really play Smash, per se. And I explained that again in my criteria video. The ability to, like, play a platformer, right? A platform type fighting game. Piranha Plant doesn't have the ability to do that. So, it's like, you can get around them. You just have to use the game, right? Use the stage, right? Stage is a big part of Smash, and I believe that's a brilliant reason why this character is not anywhere above low tier. Now, potentially, I guess you could make a case for this character being mid tier, but I just feel like the characters in mid tier are just better and more consistent. So let's go. I'm gonna talk about these two in the same breath, being Villager and dang, what's the little doggy's name? Isabel. There we go. So, Isabel and Villager. These characters, well, Villager specifically, Villager's fallen off quite a bit. His zoning, he has some of the worst zoning in the game, honestly. Alright, like, he has slingshots with his forward air, back air. They're still pretty annoying, but this character, quite frankly, has nothing redeemable. I mean, he can spam side B, that's about it. I could easily kind of sort of put this character in mid tier, but I feel like there's characters, again, that do the job that he, or do the role that he fulfills a lot better. So I think this character is just not even close to being as good as he used to be. He's a very high fall from grace, and even then in Smash 4 he was probably only like at best high tier, maybe, and that's just because of Renai. Renai was making this character look really good, and I also think that's because nobody knew the matchup, right? You just have to deal with all this nonsense with Lloyd and the slingshots, and he can be really annoying. Isabel is literally a worse villager, so I could honestly put Isabel at bottom tier, but I think Isabel is way better than Kirby. Much better pick if you really wanted to main a low tier or something like that. So these characters, their zoning's not very good, their trap game isn't really good anymore, right? There's just better characters, right? Like, and like I said earlier, these characters can definitely trick you up if you don't know the matchup. That's always a thing. Villager, I had a friend that was actually playing Villager as well, and he would trick people up, and mostly in doubles. Doubles is where he was really playing the character, and it does really well in the confusion because you don't really understand what he's doing unless you've known about Villager for a while. So I think these two characters are pretty weak, honestly. I really do. I really think they belong here in low tier. Moving on to some of the heftier characters. Now, initially I had Incineroar in mid tier, because Incineroar is actually not that bad. Right? He's got some intangibility on his limbs. He's got some good combos, good damage. Is it the freaking rope grab, the side B? Side B is destructive. It hurts. It hurts really, really bad. He can rob you really quickly, and the revenge gauge can really smack you. Right? The only reason I have him down here in low tier, and this is the literal only reason, and it's because I don't think he plays the game of Smash well. Right? Again, as a platform fighter, his mobility is so horrendously low that if you actually utilize your own mobility against him, then he shouldn't be that much of a threat, right? Unless you're a character of lower mobility and that kind of has to fight him, that's where he can shine. But ultimately, this character just exists to straight up rob you, right? And again, that's not a very consistent way to play for like tournaments or anything like that. So that's why he's down here in low tier. Ganon, the eternal king of low tier. I actually had friends that wanted to make cases for Ganon being mid tier or even high tier. I think, well, he does very bad against a lot of characters. But here's the thing about Ganon. And we all know that Nairo has used Ganon in tournament and gotten some dubs. So the thing about Ganon is that he's a character that almost strictly relies upon reads, right? That's the only redeeming quality. You have to get reads. If you're not getting your reads, you're not doing anything, right? Because he's really laggy. He has some combos. He's got some movement a little bit with the whiz kick, down B. But ultimately, the character is pretty meh. You have to get your reads. You have to get your reads. If you get your reads, you destroy people, right? It only takes a few good reads to annihilate somebody because of how much power and how much range he has now, right? And of course, you could always side B suicide for game if you're a stock ahead for some reason. But the character, again, a playstyle based on reads is not consistent, right? Like strictly on reads, Ganon, you have to have the reads from the start, right? Like you have to already know that other players' habits, and you have to capitalize off of everything, right? And something that maybe worse players don't know is that good players oftentimes choose not to capitalize on a player's habit so they can save it, right? They'll save it and just not punish it until game time comes. Then they'll punish it knowing you were going to do that all along because you thought you were getting away with it, right? And you can't save any of those reads with Ganon. Once they know what you're trying to look for, right, then they start punishing you. And then like in certain matchups, you just can't touch the ground, right? It gets really hectic. So Ganon stays down here in low tier for that reason, right? He can't really play the surrounding purpose of Smash. And then Little Mac. Now, I will say that I do think Little Mac is the king of low tier. I think Little Mac has been buffed pretty well. I think he has definite mid-tier potential. There's another guy I know who plays Little Mac, plays really well. Played him and did some stuff that I actually didn't know Little Mac was capable of. But at the end of the day, it was still as simple as knock him off stage and keep him there, right? Literally implement any type of basic edge guarding and the character dies, right? Again, another character that cannot play Smash. He has to stay on the ground. Yes, you can do the little air mac memes and stuff. You can get reads, and he can play neutral really well. His spacing game is pretty solid. But the fact that he has to play you from the ground and just does not have any real option to play from the air means this character not consistent, right? Even, is it Peanut or Peanut? I think it's Peanut, whichever one. He plays Little Mac, and he does really well, but then when he stacks up against anybody like mid or higher tier, it's like it's really hard to do anything. Character gets kind of run over. Right. All right. So that's gonna be it for this one. Of course, like I said, I'm gonna upload these at different points and try to keep them as short as possible so they're not taking up a huge amount of time, because there's kind of sort of a lot to talk about in a freaking 70+ character game. Right? And there'll be quite a bit of controversy even surrounding these, I know. So remember, this is my opinion. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, throw those comments below and tell me if you agree or disagree. Tell me why. Right? Because I understand viewpoints. Like I said, there are some of these characters I could easily see being in mid-tier, but there are too many characters in mid-tier, and I kind of wanted to cull it just a little bit. So I hope you guys stay tuned for the next list. Well, not the next list, but the next tier to go over, because mid-tier, of course, it's a biggie. Alright, so again, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next section. Peace.
Sounds